Hello and welcome to It's Your Time You're Wasting. With me, David Didow, and
Me, Martin Robinson. There we go.
there we go. Hello, Martin. How on earth are you?
I don't know. I'm fine, I think.
You're not
Yeah.
sure. What's happened?
What's happened? What's happened to me?
Why aren't you sure?
I went to see a play reading with Roger Allam. You know Roger Allam, rather
No.
wonderful actor. You don't know Roger Allam. Roger Allam, wonderful. And it was the
You can't just say that and just...
50th anniversary of. He's been in loads of things. I mean,
No.
people will know who he is.
Was he in Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
No.
That was
Anyway,
Anthony Hayes, wasn't it?
it was the 50th anniversary of Destiny, the play by David Edgar, which was charting the rise of the far right back in 1970s, and it was full of the audience had full of notable lefties like Neil Kinnock was there, and Claire Short sat next to us, and yeah, it was a good day out, as they say. So I enjoyed that greatly.
Did you hobnob?
I didn't hobnob, but Neil was holding forth, as his nickname would not surprise anyone, that he was called the Welsh Windbag if you'd seen him with his half pint of lager, pontificating about all things. Yeah, with a rather wonderful voice as well. Roger Allam has a wonderful voice, and so does Neil Kinnock. Yeah,
So does Neil Kinnock.
so that's what I've been doing.
You didn't chat with him?
No, I just sort of pointed from afar and said, "That's Neil Kinnock."
I once, believe it or not, got into an argument with, not really an argument, a sort of a robust discussion with Jeremy Paxman in a cinema.
Did you? Was this during the film?
No, it was after the film.
After the film. What? Right. Okay.
And it was the film American Hustle.
Right.
And I watched the film with my wife, and she was saying afterwards, and it's relevant to the film, because it was set in the 80s, I think, and she was saying, and there were one of the female characters in there wasn't wearing a bra, and she said, "I don't think that was very 80s. I think that anyway." She made a sort of style point about that. And then Jeremy Paxman sitting behind us, got involved, started talking about breasts.
What did he say?
Well, we didn't. We were like, Jeremy, we're not interested in joining.
Shut up, Jeremy! You had to punch him.
Well, I didn't, but I remember my wife being quite cross with him.
Yes, getting involved, but you can't remember what his view was, and I suppose you wouldn't want to say just in case.
He was in favour of larger breasts, as I recall.
Larger breasts.
Yeah.
He was talking about the size of breasts. This is sort of Zach Polanski territory.
I know, right?
How odd.
I know. Odd. It was odd. It was odd. And we were saying, why is Jeremy Paxman talking? And it's not a dream or anything. It actually happened.
Well, now you've put doubt in my mind.
No, it really did.
I didn't think it was a dream until you mentioned the possibility that this is all like this David in Wonderland.
It sounds like a dream. It wasn't. I had a very vivid dream last night.
Oh, I hope no.
Okay.
No, I've got no idea, listeners and readers and watchers, exactly what the dream was about, but I don't think
it wasn't
based on the
inappropriate, Martin.
Well, how do you know? You can only remember certain bits. If you want to hear about David's dream in further episodes,
it'll be a bonus episode just for subscribers.
Like and subscribe.
Can I say as well, while we're on the sort of admin bit at the beginning, so last week, viewers, listeners were encouraged to get in touch if they wanted a copy of my book, and I promised to send them out. And sure enough, some people did that. But I haven't had the books delivered yet, so I can't send them to you. So if you're there sort of cursing, going, bloody Didow hasn't sent me a book, I haven't had them yet. So blame Routledge.
Yes. Did you answer the people, the throngs who...
Yeah. So, one person just said on YouTube, I want a book. And I said, you have to do a bit better than that.
Oh.
You can't just say what you want.
Okay. I didn't realise it was...
They said something like, I'll have the book.
Did you suggest that it has to be...
Yeah, no, I did. I said
paragraph of
why you deserve one.
of Middle English.
Yeah, Middle English would be good. I'd like it. Yeah, I'd like it in sprung rhythm.
Yeah, yeah, okay, right. I'll just stick to the iambic pentameter myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with no. I think. Yeah, I'd like it in iambic pentameter with at least one trochaic substitution.
there you go. Now there you go, listeners. If any of you know exactly what he's talking about, well done.
Yeah, well done.
And if the rest of you don't worry about it. It really doesn't matter. What are we talking about this week, David?
We're talking, Martin. We're talking about a couple of things that have been happening this recently. So, firstly, there was a piece of research that's come out saying that phone bans don't make any difference to academic attainment. We're going to have a little chat about that. We're going to. What are you giggling about?
Just giggling. I know what we're talking
Just
about.
enjoying yourself. Yeah.
Keep going.
We're going to be talking about AI.
AI.
And AI.
Aye. Aye.
I had the good fortune to be at Research Ed in Guernsey at the weekend and listened to Daisy Christodoulou talking about AI, and a couple of people, I think you caught a couple of people tweeting about that and suggested that might make a good topic of conversation, and particularly the effects of AI in higher education. That seems to be something to be concerned about, and we might, if we've got time, we might squeeze in a bit of some of the latest controversy on everyone's favourite high-performing
Strictest head teacher. We
Yes.
do like the strictest head mistress.
We love her.
We do like a bit of strictness. I wonder what Jeremy Pax. He interviewed her, didn't he, Jeremy Paxman? Actually,
Oh, did he? I don't
did
know.
some back in the day. I think he might be a fan. Right. It's called Phones, AI, and the Case for Tech Skepticism. There you go. So,
Did you come up with that?
no, I didn't. I think did you?
I think you did.
No, I came up with the one word, which isn't even a full word.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, well, where should we start, Martin? Should we talk about the phone stuff first? Or...
Talk about the phones.
Right. So
I put my reading glasses on every now and then to be able to read
good.
all your notes.
Have you got the picture of the study to pop up?
Oh, no, you really are asking.
Oh, Martin, look, you've got
dear
one job.
One job, and
So,
whilst
so the paper is come from the NBER, who are the National Bureau of Economic Research, as part of their working paper series, and it's called "The Effect of School Phone Bans: National Evidence from Lockable Pouches."
National evidence from lockable pouches. That's a very odd way of trying to phrase.
Well, that's how they phrased it.
Yes, let's have a look at that again. National evidence from lockable pouches.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Exactly. So, so they basically looked at whether strict school phone bans work, more specifically, whether Yonder, that's Yondr, no E in there, Yonder, Yonder style lockable.
Very modern.
Yeah, very modern, very trendy.
Drop the vowel.
So they've looked in US middle and high schools and to see the effects of schools using their pouches. And so there's, my wife's coming in the back door. And the door's locked, though, so she can't get in. She's done that.
So what's he going to do? Just laugh at her?
I've laughed and she's leaving. They've used a big old data set, and they've surveyed teachers, they've surveyed students, they've looked at test scores and attendance and discipline, and they've compared schools that have used pouches with similar schools that haven't, to try and look at what's different. So the main finding is, and this is interesting, I think, phone pouches do reduce phone use. Who knew? But they do not seem to make any difference to academic or school climate outcomes.
Right. Can we just clear this up for those people, those listeners who have no idea what a phone pouch is? I mean, it sounds like something like a kangaroo would have to put its phone in. I mean, there's something specific about them. They're lockable, aren't they?
It's not just a handy pocket to pop your phone in. It's got a magnetic lock in it, and essentially, when you come into school, You put your phone in, it locks for the duration, and when you leave school, it unlocks, and then you can get your phone out and use it as normal.
But you carry the phone with you
Yeah, you'd carry the phone with you in your pouch,
in your pouch, your lockable
or
pouch.
in your lockable, yeah, in your lockable phone pouch.
Can can you see your phone?
She's got in now. She's found her way in. There's no. I've tried locking all the doors, but she found one that's open.
A window. A window.
Yes, climbed through the window.
So yeah, come on, concentrate, sir. You're
I'm
being
sorry. Yeah,
distracted.
I
Distracted
know.
by your wife. Perhaps
She's
she
going to
should be in
start
a
making a
lockable
coffee
pouch.
now. Extraordinary.
A lockable pouch for your wife. That would be awful.
Yeah.
I'm just ashamed that you even thought that.
So what I'm going to do, Martin, I'm going to relocate into a different room.
Oh, here we go.
If you can
I'm going to keep
extemporize,
everyone talking.
yeah,
Everyone
you do that,
focused and
and
interested.
I'll just.
Well,
You'll probably make everyone feel a bit
this
sick
is
if I
interesting
move.
because he's actually doing this for listeners. He's doing this as it's something like through the keyhole or something like that. He's walking through the house, and
No, you're meant to be getting on with the broadcast.
no,
Not
no, no.
explaining what I'm
We're
doing.
seeing your cleavage. I mean,
Oh,
you should have given me more warning because I could have then sort of taken you out of the whole picture and just put me on like that, you see, and then we could have, but we didn't. So there we go. Now he's frozen now. That's even better. Oh my goodness! Yes, he's. We got to try and get back into some sort of semblance of. We could try and cut this bit, perhaps. Hello, you're back.
I don't know. It's a little insight into the
house.
died out home and also the inner workings of Martin's brain.
Yes, which was
and you get to see my medals
again. So carry on. We were talking about this, about the pouch, and it's magnetic. So you actually carry the pouch with you. You don't hand it in, and all that. Now, some time ago, there was some research also about phones that sort of said something about if you got your phone on you, if you've got your phone on your desk, you're distracted. If you put your phone in your pocket, you're as equally distracted. If you put your phone in a bag on the floor next to your desk, you're equally distracted. If you put that bag right in next to the classroom door, you're just a tiny bit less distracted, but still distracted. The phone has to be out of the way, out of the classroom, out of the way, before there is any feasible change that makes a difference to your focus and concentration. The itch, oh, where's my phone? Oh, it's not here. You're dying down. Yeah. So if you've got it in a pouch, you've still got the itch, haven't you? But it's in a pouch.
Yeah. So you're referring there, I think, to a study by Ward et al. From a few years ago now, 2017. And if listeners want to track that down, it's called Brain Drain. The mere presence of one's own smartphone reduces available cognitive capacity. So you're absolutely right. Yeah, they compared these 3 experimental conditions where some subjects had their phone out on the desk in front of them as they were completing various tasks. And then some people had it either in their pocket or in a bag. And then other subjects had it in a different room. And it was, so basically there wasn't very much difference between those that had it out on the desk and those that had it in the bag. There was a difference, I should say, but it wasn't as great as you might think. So definitely the people who had it out did the worst in the tests that they conducted. And the people who had it not in the room did significantly better than both groups. So the presence did seem to have an effect, and definitely reduced.
We're talking about tech skepticism. So allow me to be a bit skeptical about having it in a magnetic pouch, but on your person.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things to sort of consider here is why take that route? Why would schools want to invest in a relatively expensive technology, these magnetic lockable pouches, instead of simply saying either hand in your phone or don't bring it in, or some other sort of more low-tech version? Why do you think that's attractive?
I do not know, and I think it's probably due to things like storage. You know, if you're a school of 2,000, where do you put 2,000 phones at the beginning and end of the day and giving them in and out? How does the magnet
Mm.
come off? Is it just automatic when you walk out of the school?
Yeah, pretty much. So schools have to buy some sort of text. I don't know how it works, obviously,
Is
because
it
I'm an
like an
idiot.
airport thing?
But
So
you,
it can do your
yeah,
knives
you
as
go.
well. You can all the knives
Well,
sort of come out of your bags and
yeah,
everything and hit the sides as you go.
basically, you have something that locks and unlocks your pouch as you come into school. Yeah, exactly what that looks like or how it works, I'm not sure.
Sounds rather worrying. I think it could unlock and all sorts of things. Right, so it does that. So that's probably why. Because I went to a Bob
Well,
Dylan concert. We've talked about this Bob Dylan concert a few times, actually. I think
all right.
at least one, and that's in the Royal Albert Hall, and you had to give your phone in for that, and had to be put in a pouch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was
So
a
nobody
lockable
could
pouch.
film him?
No, because he's dreadful, and no, he's not dreadful. He's an icon, but his voice isn't where it used to be, should we say? And it was always in one of those places that some people found grating. I found it rather wonderful,
Mm.
but nowadays it's got into a rather special place, should
Do
we
you,
say? A
do you
special
not find
place.
it wonderful anymore?
Special place. It's a
Wonderful.
memory of a voice.
A ghost of a voice.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so why don't so yeah, so I think that's really interesting that schools are being encouraged or certainly being sold to by companies like Yonder to buy these pouches as the solution to phone bans. And it's interesting also that Yonder were involved in this. And how are you supposed to say it, Martin?
Well, I like the way you're saying it. It's because you were in the West Country, aren't you? So you are saying it with a West
Yonder.
Country burr.
That's right.
Arr.
Yeah, the NBER.
Arr.
Yeah, so I once heard the Bristol accent described as halfway between farmer and pirate,
There you
which I
go.
think is a really nice. Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, NBER. So one of the things to know about this is it's not peer reviewed for what that's worth. These are discussion papers that they put out.
So we don't
Um,
know how much skepticism has been given to this at all, but
Well, you and I haven't sort of attacked the methodology and sort of thought deeply about
no,
any
because we
potential
don't
sort.
know what they did, probably.
Well, we haven't read the paper thoroughly enough. But what we have done,
We've
Martin,
done a bit of
is
research ourselves about who funded this. Where does this come
yeah,
from?
I know, and it's kind of not that this necessarily. It's not that this is a killer or anything like that.
No,
But
it's fun.
the NBER. God, it's hard to say. The NBER phone ban paper was in part funded
Oh,
by Bezos,
now
the Bezos Family Foundation. Jeff
it's
Bezos, he
interesting.
of
Just as
Amazon
you were
fame.
saying that, David, just as you were saying that, your phone went into freeze mode, and it made it all come out all distorted and everything. I think
Oh,
this
really?
means that Bezos is onto you, and
He's listening.
he's definitely listening. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely something weird happened just at that right time. I'm going all Infowars on this.
Wow. Okay. Good to know.
Say it again. Say it again. Who
Yeah.
funded this paper?
The the Bezos Family Foundation.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Which is obviously connected to Jeff Bezos.
Him of the expensive wedding in Venice, and the expensive wife. What was that fashion thing the other day, where his wife turned up but Bezos didn't because of all the anti-Bezos things going on? It's the famous gala, the something gala. Anyway, don't you
Right.
know? Yeah, you're not up to date with fashion world, are you? I can tell. And you're not wearing a weird and wonderful outfit. There was one bloke there dressed as a cat or a rabbit or something. I can't remember. Anyway,
Right.
that's by the
Yeah.
by. But Bezos, yes, one of the most influential people in the world. we'll say.
I don't know. At one stage, he was the world's wealthiest man. I don't think he is anymore.
No,
But
no, Elon Musk has
yeah.
overtaken him. Then went into second
Well,
place, then back on top now. Apparently, made
well,
lots of money out of the oil crisis, I think.
well. I'm sure they're all doing quite well. Yeah. So there's various other people funding it, like the Walton Family Foundation, which
Hello, John Boy. Good night, John Boy.
yeah, they're different apparently.
Oh,
They
not
own
those
a sort
Waltons.
of an
Do you mean
not those Waltons.
they're not the Waltons who are completely and utterly fictional?
Yeah, not them. Not them. This is an actual Walton family. Yeah, and they have a platform called A Street, which looks at education focused investments and
what are they investing in here? Do you think? What
Who
would be the
knows? Who
money on
knows?
this? Would be interested. Would be the people
I don't
selling
know.
the phones, or the people selling
Yeah,
the
the phone
pouches?
pouches. Well, it's not worked out well for Yonder, has it? Because I don't think it will do their share prices any good.
But Yonder are people who make phone pouches.
Phone pouches. Yeah. So I've no idea about Jeff Bezos's investment portfolio, but it seems likely that he's keen on phones. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting, isn't it?
But because Amazon's everywhere, isn't it? So.
Yeah. So anyway, just go back to the study for a moment. So academic outcomes, the average effect on test scores is essentially nothing. There are improvements of about 0.008 in student level standard deviations, which is just not worth speaking about. So nothing there that's relevant. When you look at behavior, student well-being, this paper claims that student behavior gets worse, that disciplinary incidents rise by an average of 16%.
Isn't that at the beginning, but it sort of settles down after a time, wasn't that it?
That's right.
It's a bit like trying to take your phone off your recalcitrant child. In other words, there's trouble at the beginning, but after a time,
they just get used to it.
About 6 months.
Yeah.
Get used to
it. So well-being falls initially too, but rebounds and becomes positive in the longer term. So that's interesting. Do you want to know about effects on attendance, attention, and bullying?
No.
No. Okay. Well,
there's probably none.
Yeah, they're weak.
Yeah.
Weak. So obviously the paper's looking at one specific type of phone ban. We've pointed out that having your phone with you in a bag is still likely to decrease your ability to pay attention and your cognitive capacity more broadly. So if you are a school leader thinking of banning phones, not just a phone, that would be just odd if you just banned a phone.
That'd be good. One random... And this week,
pilot study. We're going to ban yours. If we did that would. Anyway, if you're thinking of introducing a phone ban, maybe phone pouches aren't the best bet. That's something to consider.
Oh, Bezos would not like that. No.
What?
Yeah. Well, he probably sells them on Amazon.
He probably does. I was going to say, if you are going to get phone pouches, lockable phone pouches, you can probably get them on Amazon. Yeah, absolutely.
What about the role of the parents in all this? Because isn't there this thing? I mean, you could actually say no phones in school. That's it. But then parents sort of go, but I want to see where my little darling is up till 5 to 9 and 5 past 4 or whatever it is, and communicate with them, because that's the way we live nowadays. And I want to pinpoint exactly where they are, because we have that technology to see where the phone is, if not the child, all this sort of stuff. So aren't parents sort of colluding with the difficulties schools have here by saying, well, actually, we want the best of both worlds. We want you to do all the banning of phones, and we want to make sure the kids can take phones to and from schools as well.
Yeah, anecdotally, in boarding schools, most boarding schools, I think, ban phones for overnight and things like that, so to try and make students who are boarding have a good night's sleep. And parents of boarders are buying their children dummy phones so they can hand in a phone and then keep another one. That's extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, it is anecdotal, so we can take
Right,
it with a
it is
pinch of
anecdotal.
salt. But
Well, no.
because obviously, if this is happening, the
not a
school knows
rumour.
about it.
Yes, so they find out, and then
Right.
they take the dummy phone as well. So it's not a rumor; it's something that is a fact.
Right.
But I don't have data on how widespread it is. So it's not something that we should take with a pinch of salt. It's true.
So they're banning phones overnight, but not during the day.
Well, so they're banned. I think, and I can't speak for all boarding schools, but I know that for some, they allow their students to have them during specific windows. So that they can.
So they carry them
contact
around
their parents and all that sort of stuff. So so that they. I don't know the ins and outs of it.
Okay.
But what I find interesting about that is it's exactly what you said, that there are parents colluding with their children in order to circumvent policies that schools put in place, which is quite interesting. So conceivably, schools that have students coming in with putting their phones into these lockable pouches, conceivably children are putting a fake phone in there or an additional phone and then carrying on with another one. I've no idea that is actually happening or how widespread it might be, but it's certainly not that unlikely for at least some children.
So what about, I mean, the government sort of playing around with and not going for banning not just phones from schools, but also the Australian experiment in banning social media, etc., for under 16s, which of course some under 16s circumvent in various ways. But
well, I suppose it's not too dissimilar from the change in the law last year in the UK, which made it illegal for under 18s to look at pornography, or at least they introduced some sort of thing, didn't they?
I've got no idea, David. You tell me.
You big liar! You told me about this.
I did not.
Yeah.
You and Jeremy Paxman would probably know more about this than me.
Probably so. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, the result was that under 18s were just accessing these sites via proxies.
Because pornography has always been banned for under 18.
Yes, you're right. So some way of trying to enforce that ban.
I mean, this is the extraordinary thing. I mean, because I've been arguing about bloody phone use since phones started.
You're meant to put your credit card details in, aren't you? In order to show. I don't know. You're meant to have some sort of age-related pass. Yeah.
So, but back in the day, I mean, we've let children have these machines which access the most horrendous things. And when I was a kid, I remember going into a newsagent's and trying to get a magazine when I was about 8 years old, trying to reach for the top shelf. Must have been a bit older, 10.
When you were 8?
10. I was, reached up there. And the newsagent came round from the counter and hit me and took it off me.
What? The face?
Clipped me round the ear. Yeah. And said, get out of my shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, people nowadays, you can go to shops in Birmingham, in fact, and buy crack cocaine if you're a school kid. So that's good. Things have moved on. Didn't you see that?
No.
A few weeks ago, there was reports on
shops selling.
Yeah, selling illegal drugs. Yeah. In Birmingham.
In shops?
In shops.
Like Boots?
No, not shops like Boots. Corner shops and newsagents.
Corner shops selling crack.
Selling crack cocaine and various other things as well to school children.
So, well, okay. I didn't know that. But if you could give me the
times
address
have changed,
of some of these...
David.
I know.
I blame mobile phones.
Well, there's something. Oh, yes. I mean, there is something interesting in the whole kind of scarcity thing. So 8-year-old Martin, unable to get a pornographic magazine, drug addicts of the past struggling to to get hold of crack cocaine and not being able to go to their local shop. I think there's a similar thing with, obviously, it's not very serious, but with the access to music and the fact that when we were kids, had to hunt down records that you wanted to listen to. You couldn't, and now obviously you can find anything that you want on one of these music platforms, and it's taken all the scarcity away, all of the the fact that you have to find things. Well, I don't know. Is that true? Am I being pointlessly romantic? Anyway, I'm off the point, whatever I am.
Well, the point is, I mean, even nowadays, music that you listen to, how much of it is AI, David? How much of it is AI? Because you can go and watch your favourite concert, you see them live in front of you, but is their voice being modified or changed in order to hit all the right notes in the right order?
Well, probably not by AI, probably just by a vocoder.
A vocoder? That sounds like AI to me. Or is it vocoders?
Do you not know about vocoders?
Is that in Doctor Who? The vocoders?
No. They've been used for decades. Yes. Vocoders, and it all came out.
The technology now is adjusting the right down to the nth degree. There's
so we've got better at vocoders.
There's rumours, and I can't say who because we'll be sued. And
you can say who the rumours are about. You can't say they're true.
Ah, that's true. Yes, Mick Jagger.
Ah, okay.
Taylor Swift.
He's Taylor Swift. Because obviously Cher famously made it very, very obvious.
That was a vocoder. That was
Yeah.
Isn't that a tube in the mouth?
No.
What's that?
No, it's not. It's electronic post-production effects. And in order to make, I think you can sing live through them actually, not just post-production. But she. Oh, I don't know.
Peter Frampton used it. Peter Frampton on Frampton Comes Alive. Look, we're really getting off the thing. Let's get back onto AI. Let's save ourselves.
Let's just close down the phone ban stuff for the moment, because obviously we've got this paper. Should we be sceptical about banning phones? Should we be sceptical about that paper? Should we be sceptical about the reasons for banning phones? Should we just be sceptical about that particular method, the lockable phone pouch? What do we think? What's your hot take, Martin? Should phones be banned in schools? Yes or no?
I think yes. I think yes, but yes. I don't think that it sounds like pouches are the way forward.
How would you do it?
I would do it by not having phones in schools.
How would you make that happen?
By punishment.
Okay. So one school that I work with, a number of schools that I work with, children come in with their phones, and during tutor time, they put their phones in a tray, which are then taken and locked in, student reception for the day. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, they get their phones back. And that seems pretty straightforward.
But again, you go back to your second phone argument.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So you've also got to have some sort of policy whereby if children are caught using their phone, then you punish them, or at least have some sort of...
You take the phone off them. That's the thing.
You take the phone off them. Do you know, apparently in China, if you're in a Chinese school and you're caught with a phone, it becomes the school's property.
That's very good, isn't it? But China is a very different society. That's communism for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Property is theft, so it's ours.
I know. It's kind of wonderful, though, isn't it? There we are. Anyway, so phone bans.
Only possible in communist countries, clearly.
So I've got an analogy here about because basically the big thing there is that banning a phone doesn't seem to improve results, but I think having a phone ban is a little bit like, or at least having phones in the classroom is a bit like when a bee or a wasp comes in the classroom, and obviously it's really hard to teach. As you'll know, if you've ever been teaching, a bee comes in the room.
Excuse me, that's if the phone is buzzing or ringing.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the phone has to come in, bzzz, and then it's sort of noticed and
As we've just established from that Ward et al. Paper, it only has to be in your bag to start draining
Well, that's the
attention.
important paper. I think that's far more interesting paper than the other one.
I mean, we also want to stop putting wasps in children's bags as well.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
But it's in the theatre, people have stopped the show if should a phone go off and things like that, and sort of waited on the stage
Yeah,
and
tutting.
stared rather wearily.
Yeah. So I think having a phone ban is a little bit like trying to keep wasps out of classrooms. It's good, and you can't really measure, or at least I'm sure there is a way to do it, but it'd be really hard to measure the effect of not having a wasp in the classroom. And
You should have. You could have one classroom full of wasps.
Yeah, you
and
could.
one classroom empty of wasps.
Yeah,
and
Let's
another
try
classroom, the controlled classroom with flies.
Okay. Spiders. Yeah, we could. Yeah, let's
spiders.
propose that.
That'll really put the cat amongst the pigeons. The spider amongst the flies. Don't worry. Keep going.
No. Yeah.
It's a menagerie.
So it's one of those things, isn't it? So if you've got, if your phone's, if in your school you haven't got a great curriculum and behaviour's not very good and teaching's is inconsistent and there is serial absenteeism and all of that sort of stuff, banning phones isn't gonna make any difference. But if you try and improve all of these things, banning a phone maybe makes all of those other things a bit easier to do.
How about banning AI? You talk
Right,
about
how
AI and the
about-
problem with AI.
Let's talk about AI. Yeah, so as I said, I saw Daisy Christodoulou. We're big fans of Daisy Christodoulou. Oh, do you know what? Because as I've now incoherently introduced, I saw Daisy Christodoulou speak on AI at the weekend in Guernsey. And to my great delight, I had a chat with Daisy, and it turns out she's been following my serialized novel on Substack, The Second Summer of Love. And she said, when's the next chapter out? And I was like, I'm really delighted that Daisy's reading my book.
She's the reader.
She's the reader. Yeah. Yeah. She's one of the few.
Yes,
Yeah. So that was nice. Anyway, enough of that. No, so she was, but readers, viewers, if you're interested in reading my novel, The Second Summer of Love, it's another plug. You can. It's set in 1989 in Birmingham, and it's got raves, and it's got all sorts of stuff in it.
Has it got rave reviews, David?
It's got rave reviews from Daisy Christodoulou. I don't know. I don't know if she said it was any good, just that she'd read it.
No, anyway. That's good enough. Take that.
I'll take it. I will take it. I will take it. Yeah. So basically, she, as you may or may not know, she works for No More Marking. She's their education director, and No More Marking is a company which does comparative judgment on students' writing, and they've got huge data sets. Which they've looked at and over the last few years, they've been using AI to support their judgments. And they found that AI is really good at doing comparative judgments. It's not so good, like human beings, it's not so good at making holistic, independent judgments, but it's pretty good. It's very good at comparative judgments.
So it can look at two essays and say,
which
that's
is better
than that one.
Yes,
and then there's more subtle things underneath that, I'm sure. But the headline is, if you're putting things in some sort of order of excellence,
if you're ranking,
you can actually.
It can do that very actively, and so they in their studies that they've done, they have looked at where the AI disagrees with human markers. And they found that when there is a disagreement, that it tends to be the human beings that are off. And they know that because they're getting back in touch and they said, oh, the AI disagreed with you on this judgment. What's your, on reflection, what's your position now? And people have gone, oh no, the AI is right. Yeah, no, I misclicked or I got that wrong. And that's really interesting. And one of the reasons, one of the speculations that they've got is that the AI isn't affected by handwriting bias, for instance.
Hmm.
Do you know about handwriting bias?
Yes, but boys, etc., do tend to be scruffier and then tend to be not as good.
Yeah.
But isn't a lot of it done on typewritten nowadays?
So what? Well, no, it's all handwritten. Their assessments.
Are you talking about examination ones? But a lot of schools now are just asking kids to type things out, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, so there's no real need to do that because the ability to scan handwritten scripts and turn them into typed output is sort of instantaneous. So it's much easier to deal with handwritten scripts.
Right.
That tends to be quicker.
Much easier than it used to be.
Well, much easier
to deal with because look, schools are using things like technology in order you do your homework and send it in online.
Right.
Things like this.
Get AI to do your homework and send it in.
And then get AI to actually, So if the kids are cheating and the schools are using that odd thing about actually the AI is better than the human but it needs the human to say that.
Well, no,
the final judgment of how good the AI is the human judgment of the AI saying it's better than me.
So one of the things that
so there is a higher.
Well, so that's
when the AI disagrees with a human. That's when it's going to get interesting.
No, well, that's what I've just told you.
No, because the AI said that to the human being said, "Oh yeah, you're right." It's when the human being says, "No, you're wrong," and keeps saying you're wrong. That's when your arguments arise. That's when it gets interesting.
Absolutely, and for sure, that is interesting. What they found, just getting AI to do comparative judgment, it's really good. It's really accurate, and that doesn't come up much, if at all. So, and to the extent that it might, and that one of their arguments for keeping humans as part of the marking process is that it does potentially catch those disagreements, and humans can overrule the AI if need be, which seems like a decent bet. But what Daisy was talking about, particularly, I think struck a chord with the audience, is what we've just alluded to, that whether in a school or in a university or in any other space where you ask somebody to produce writing in circumstances that aren't strictly supervised, then unsurprisingly, some people are using chatbots, large language models, to write their essays. And so she was talking about a piece of research from last year. I can't remember the reference off the top of my head, although I can track it down for you, which found that not only was students using AI to write their essays almost impossible to spot, so the number of these that were spotted was very, very low, but it also led to lots of false positives. When people try and spot AI essays, they actually find human written essays and accuse them of being cheating when they're not.
How do they evidence this?
Yeah, they evidence this by deliberately putting scripts that they know to be handwritten by humans and scripts that they know to be written by AI they sneak them into the system. So in this particular study, I can't remember the university it was at, but they invented a bunch of students which didn't exist, and submitted 100% AI portfolios for their work, and almost none of them were spotted as cheating, essentially. But not only that, the AI generated essays were doing between 1 or 2 grades better than human generated essays. So if you're a student at university and you're doing some sort of humanities subject where you're being assessed using essays as the assessment tool, not only are you very unlikely to be caught if you hand in work written by an AI, you'll do much better. And so the incentive to do that is huge.
Except, you won't do any better, but
right
your name. In your
And
name,
that's
you'll
the
be doing
point, isn't
better.
it? So she said, one of the things that she said, and it's a great line, is that there are going to be students leaving university this year with a degree who have never written an essay.
Mm. And therefore, is the essay dead? I mean, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean,
Montaigne, what has happened to your dream?
I know, right? Well, so I mean, it's interesting to talk about Montaigne because his understanding of an essay is probably a little bit different to ours today. So his idea about the essay was an attempt to try. To essay, the verb essay in French is to have a go at something,
Yeah.
and now it's become this formal summative statement about your performance, which is quite antithetical to the roots of the essay, which for Montaigne was about teasing out and experimenting with ideas and going, oh, maybe this, maybe that. And now, because they're so high stakes, that maybe it makes complete logical, rational sense for people to cheat the system, because why are students going to university anyway? They're going generally because with the the finances involved, they're paying a lot of money, they're getting into debt, they're going because they're betting that having gone to university, they can earn more money. And so basically getting AI to write your letter. Well, I mean, it's not, but increasingly it is.
It's increasingly, there's some evidence that in fact a lot of degrees don't get you more money nowadays, and the market is changing in such a way that actually technical qualifications might be better for you, or going straight into the world of work or apprenticeships, etc., etc. Certainly for certain degrees. The other thing is, I mean, that universities have become places for customers. The whole businessification, that's a horrible word I've just made up, of the marketization is a better word of universities, etc., and we students are customers and therefore expect degrees to go up, but also degrees are going up. You're more likely to get a 2-1 now than you ever were in the past, and they all mark their own homework, these universities, unless another university does it for them. But it could be open to quite a deal of I won't call it corruption, but we'll call it persuasive pressures in order to perhaps raise standards somewhere along the line, but not at least on paper, if not in the classroom. The other thing, the essay itself, isn't the essay, when done well, a good way of testing out argument? Can you create an argument? It's about testing out not what you think, but the way of thinking, if you like, that you can actually go through an argument, you can present a case for, a case against, and then sort of weigh up the evidence and come up with your own opinion at the end of it. That's the sort of thing that can also be done through talking, through what schools call oracy, what others would call dialectical rhetoric, and things like that. Isn't there a place there for teachers to actually have more discursive spaces in order to talk with their students, rather than send them off to write an essay, have the discussion in the classroom, in the seminar room, and perhaps assess that?
Yes, so there is a space for that. The difficulty with doing that is that it's really hard to scale it. It's really hard to...
Well, it is. It's something we used to be able to do very, very easily back in the day, because we had classrooms that were more discursive. People were used to it. But we also had smaller sixth form classes.
I'd refute that, Martin. That was certainly never my experience, that it was easy to do that.
But you must have had hundreds in your classroom. If you've got like a classroom of 10 or 11.
Right. Well, let's say you've got a classroom of 10 or 11, and you're wanting an individual in that, one of those 10 or 11 in that classroom, to have the same clarity of argument that they could get from writing an essay, to go through that thought process during a lesson. Then how can you do that? What are you going to do that 10 times with 3?
You could do it in terms of having the formal
Mm.
speech, if you like. They could do that, but it's the questioning afterwards, which can be done by everyone in the room and the space. Yeah, you can do that, but they need to be able to do the research and everything else. It's not just taking place in one classroom. They need to be able to have done the speech writing, if you like, whether that is preparation or written or whatever.
Yeah.
But the questioning of it can be done. Yeah, you can do that in the space in a
So obviously,
discursive space.
I always had to assess those kinds of things under the speaking and listening banner
Which
in
was
my
always something
classrooms.
separate to the rest of the course for some reason. But anyway.
It didn't have to be at all.
No, but a lot of
There's
the
no.
time, wasn't it? School uniforms, good idea, bad idea. Do
Well,
one
you could
lesson
do something
and
really
assess it,
banal like that, or you could link it to the course, which is
as you
what I
should.
tended to do,
Yeah.
as you should. But it was always like just sort of guesswork and nonsense. The idea that you were assessing meaningfully doing that,
No, but this is it.
according to
What are you
rubrics,
assessing? Because if you're
right? So it's
assessing the quality of the argument,
mm,
you don't assess that trying to give it a mark in order to go into a book. You assess that by having the argument.
right. But if we're saying that which I thought you might be, that maybe universities need to replace the essay with the viva,
I think they might have to in terms of great assessment. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Or they do it. I mean, even now, it was Ofqual came out yesterday. Something like 7,000 students were done for cheating with phones, etc., last year in GCSEs and A levels, 2025
during the exams.
during their exams. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's only going to become more difficult. We were talking, on one of our previous episodes about the fact you can get AI glasses, which can scan the paper in front of you and suggest answers, and they come up on a heads-up display on over your eyes. I've never worn them, so I've no idea what that's like. It sounds a bit like it would make me feel a bit sick, but
Yeah,
nevertheless. That's already a thing. I'm sure they're very expensive at the moment, but they're already a thing. And so obviously, there are ways of detecting those, I'm sure, but they just from the photographs I've seen, they look indistinguishable from normal glasses. So not only will you have to have, children sort of pen and paper in an exam hall, you'll also have to make the exam hall some sort of Faraday cage which blocks off.
But people have
electrical
cheated
signals.
for years. I mean, I'm sure. I was going to say something now I won't say. But
Tell us about your cheating, Martin.
cheated for years back in the day. There was. I had a student once who did an essay on Brecht and compared Brecht to a car mechanic.
Right.
And this convoluted essay came out, and all I had to do was question her, not about Brecht, but about car mechanicry, because she knew nothing about car mechanicry. So it's clear that she got this.
Yeah.
This bloody essay from, she didn't know this, that, and the other. So that's what I mean by questioning in a forensic way to find out if they know what they're talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
But right, okay, I see and that does make sense. And I've certainly been in that position as well when I've looked at coursework and looked at a student's vocabulary choice, where there's some sort of niche words being used, and I've said, "Oh, that's a great piece of vocabulary. What does it mean?" Yeah. And of course, they don't know because they haven't used it. So it's that unsophisticated way of cheating that students used in the past is now much more sophisticated and much harder to detect. So obviously, if you're right, if children hand in or students hand in a piece of work which has been completely generated by a large language model, and then their tutor interrogates them on it, then that will become clear quite quickly. And I think that, certainly my eldest daughter's experience doing a BA in education, almost all of her assessments have been like that, where she's given an oral presentation and then been interviewed and interrogated about what she's just presented on. And that seems to be to my mind, a better bet in the current climate than just asking people to turn in
Yeah, that's it.
essays
That's
that
what I'm
they've
saying.
written at home.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point that I was making is that the scalability of that is harder because in
If
the
you don't have,
past,
if you,
you could, the tutor, the teacher, whoever was marking just goes through the pile of essays, assigns marks, moves on. Now you've got to do this. It's much more time intensive where you've got to get everybody in one at a time.
But you're using AI to mark it all anyway.
Yeah,
But you
I
can,
know.
but the discursiveness of it, I mean, it means you have a higher pupil teacher ratio or lower teacher pupil higher. What's it? Higher or lower? One or the other. Fewer kids,
What
more teachers.
fewer teachers to fewer students to teachers.
Something like that. That's the one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. So if
And
you want to,
obviously that works very well at Oxford and Cambridge.
well, that's
And
where it always
that's their
has.
model.
It's always
Yes,
been that model, and an
it's
essay a
always
week,
been that way. Yeah, exactly. And but
before
that's
that, it wasn't an essay; it was actually just a viva,
yeah,
viva voce.
yeah. There you go. So that's an area where we should be very, very skeptical about the influence of AI. But there are lots of AI use cases. So the using AI to do comparative judgment seems like a good example, which take away remove drudgery, reduce workload, which are potentially really useful for schools and teachers.
Right, and there's
So
a
we
worry
don't
that
want to.
reducing of workload is reducing thinking.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? So, what sort of tasks do we ask people to do that don't involve a lot of thought, that are drudgery? And is it reasonable, therefore, to offload those
No, but
to?
you're then saying that there are certain things about thinking that there's only this sort of higher level of thought, which where your head is in the clouds and doing wonderful thinking about higher things, where thought drudgery underneath that, like the hard work of doing a marathon, for example. If we had a robot, you've now got robots doing it better than you lot, by the way. Not all of them. A lot of them fell over and things like that, but one or two of them getting there quicker.
Yeah.
That because it could be done, it should be done. Is there
No,
something you
exactly.
don't have to run now? We'll have robots to do our running for us, but then you don't get the fitness benefits and all that,
No.
and the human benefits from it. So all the drudgery of thought you're taking away is not necessarily the right thing.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? So you're right. And this is an analogy that Daisy uses about the marathon. She loves the marathon, and she makes the point that if you want to travel for 26 miles, you're much better off driving than you are running. It's much more sensible. But obviously, the reason people run a marathon isn't for expediency.
That's it.
It's for all sorts of other reasons. But there are elements of teaching which, rightly or wrongly, are not considered valuable by teachers. And the most expedient way of completing those tasks seems to be the most sensible way. So I'll give you an example where I think lots of teachers are now routinely using AI reports.
Yeah.
Reports. Now, in the past, once the technology to use copy and paste in word processing came out, teachers started using that, and that led to all sorts of problems. And I once had a job in one of the schools I worked in, where it was my job to check reports as they went out. And, there would be certain people that you'd sort of know were going to be an issue, and you'd read their reports a little bit more carefully than others. And you'd have to take them back and say, you've used the wrong name, you've used the wrong pronoun, let's stop it, go and correct this. You've got to correct that stuff. And obviously AI doesn't make those mistakes. You tell it, you feed in, it doesn't make those mistakes.
Yeah,
it gets those things right. You tell it that.
Yeah, but this is because you've mechanized the report process in the first place to allow something that has no idea about the child it's talking about to talk about that child and get
Well, you
away with
say
it.
that.
No,
You
it
say
doesn't
that.
know anything. You can feed it data.
No.
You can feed
Yeah.
it certain qualitative data, but generally it's quantitative data. And it comes up with
You can feed it. You can feed it anything. You can
its
feed
own
it. Yeah.
platitudes.
It comes up with its own platitudes instead of the poor teacher racking their brain.
Because
trying
it's
to think
already
of
been
other
mechanized. It's
platitudes.
already been mechanized years
Yeah.
ago, because it got to a point where it was, like you said, the cut and pasting, the sheer bloody drudgery of the whole thing, the
Yeah.
lack of and then having to say things in corporate speak rather than
all
say it
of
like
that,
it is.
all of that. But
you know.
even before that, Martin, when I was at school and I had handwritten reports from my teachers,
Could do better. Could do
Yeah.
better.
they were exactly. They've always been bullshit. No one's ever really seen any value in them.
What about parents' evenings?
Well,
Do you think they're better?
I think parents' evenings are better, generally speaking. Yeah.
And in the flesh parents' evenings, or the ones online that cut off after 3 minutes?
Wow. I've got, speaking with my parent hat on, I much preferred those.
Which? The not going to the school?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a much more focused. Yeah, expediency. You don't have to bother, schlepping out.
Yeah.
I think again, I don't have data on this, but I think they really increase people's attendance, parents' attendance at parents' evenings.
Except by not being there,
it seemed
interestingly enough.
Yeah. Well, but taking part in the dialogue.
I know.
Yeah.
People think Zoom is being there. It's a bit like us. It's a bit like this. We feel as though we're in the same room, David, sometimes. Not all the time.
Well, imagine.
Because you had to move rooms. So I was very confused by the whole thing.
Well, imagine, Martin, if we had to do this on a Saturday and it was compulsory.
Gosh, there you go. That's a very good... it's a segue. Not one of those funny... things that people used to ride around on.
Those scooters. I think they still do.
They do. People still do.
Have you got the photo to show, Martin?
This is very quick, and this is a bonus for those of you who really want to hang on into
who's stuck it out. Yeah. Well, it's just come up. Somebody on Twitter obviously got hold of a letter sent by Michaela to the parents of Year 11 students. There's the photograph, saying that children must attend. They've underlined that in wobbly biro.
I think, hang on, the school didn't underline that. The person who put it up there.
Well, maybe the school did.
No, I don't think so. I just pointed that out for our listeners.
Yes. So the person who's taken the photograph has underlined must attend. So I'll just read it to you. Over the GCSE exam period, teachers have kindly arranged some extra sessions, revision sessions during the weekends and holidays in order to help your child get the best results possible. Your child must attend these revision sessions. Please note that your child is expected to attend these days as though they are normal school days. So if they are absent, they will spend time in referral. And as you would predict, Martin, there's been something of a Twitter storm.
A Twitter storm because of what?
Well, some people think it's barbaric to punish children for not attending school on a Saturday.
I always get the impression, by the way, that if you teach well, you shouldn't need extra lessons.
But what if you say that? What if you've only got 5 lessons and you teach them brilliantly?
Then fine.
Yeah, but you needed 42.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've got more like 42 lessons than 5.
Yeah, but what if they haven't?
In a school year.
But what if they?
In a school year. In a school year.
So famously, there's a broad belief amongst science teachers that they don't have enough curriculum time to teach the course, the GCSE course, in a way that allows children to do well in their exams. So
therefore they need extra lessons on Saturdays and during the holidays just for science. Is that it?
I don't know. I've no idea. It doesn't say just for science, but I'm saying that there's a broad agreement amongst science teachers that they could do with a lot more curriculum.
We've got so much content to cover. But the content to cover thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they could start.
We've got so much content. We've got so much content to cover. We haven't got time for children to learn it.
Yeah, they were doing that thing with Year 9s, though, weren't they? I mean, if you're teaching, and they stopped that, haven't they? So generally, because Ofsted didn't like it, and it wasn't great for lots of other reasons. But in terms of saying, do you need it as part of the curriculum? You could actually just extend. They're a free school, aren't they? Can't they extend the school year?
I think the year. I mean, they extend the school day anyway. I think they start very early and finish later than
Can't they just
might
go
be typical.
have, like 6? I'm not entirely sure, but because they're a free school, I'm just wondering if they could change the school year at all. Have 4-week summer.
At the moment, they have longer holidays than typical.
What,
so
Michaela?
they've got a shorter school year.
So they've got a shorter school year. So
As
they're
I
making their own
understand it.
problems. They're making their own problems. So they're trying to solve it
yes,
by shortening the school year for some kids
But
and
but
coming
the
in at
way,
weekends. I
you
don't get
might
it.
not-
Is this a way to keep the
Okay.
staff paid less or something? What sort of nonsense is
So
this?
a little bit of critical thinking here, Martin. That they don't shorten the school years so it ends before the GCSE. They end it after the GCSE.
They shorten the school year to end after the GCSE.
Yeah, they're not saying, right, we're going to send everyone home before the GCSE.
Are you talking just
starts.
about year 11s now? Sorry, are you talking about just year 11s?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have.
No, I was
I
going
don't
to
have
say,
details.
right, okay. We need facts at our fingertips to throw these.
We
things
never
around.
have those, do we? Imagine if we had facts at our fingertips.
I just love the
We could
idea that
rule
they
the world.
shorten the school year
Yeah,
and then bring them
that's
all
an
in.
understanding.
I love that idea. No,
Well,
can't we have that as truth?
That's how Eton and Harrow work, isn't it? They have much shorter school years and have everybody working on a Saturday, don't they?
Well, that's slightly different, isn't it? Because they're there all the time.
Yes, it is slightly different, but nevertheless, isn't one of Michaela's strap lines that you get some sort of independent school vibe?
Yeah, not boarding school, is it? They don't stay. They just
Not
spend
boarding school.
their time in a Wembley office block 24/7, do they?
Great preparation for life there.
Oh dear. Anyway, yeah. Do we think it's bad? Anyway, they objecting to the wording or the idea or both?
I think people are objecting to the compulsory nature. Lots of schools offer additional sessions on weekends
On
and
pain
holidays.
of whatever. I mean, I think, and like I said earlier, I do think there's an issue with it. That if you're getting to the end of the year and you're having to have extra lessons there, then perhaps you should look at your curriculum anyway.
Yeah, well, that's fine, and I think that's definitely true in lots of cases. But I think,
And if you're just presenting more of the same, aren't you? I mean, it's
yeah, I know.
it
But
just
it's
seems
become
like-
increasingly common. It's become increasingly common for year 11s in particular to have compulsory additional periods at the end of sometimes at the beginning and the end of the school day, and then weekend sessions, holiday sessions, and so it's
How
normal.
about cognitive load,
and I
David?
think,
How about cognitive load?
I don't think they're having it on that. But I think the controversy, such as it is the fact that children will be punished for not taking up this offer.
And what is that punishment? And this is the thing, is the punishment really? What is their referral room like? Is it? I imagine it being full of chains
and whips.
Whips. Well, I don't know about the whips, but chains certainly.
I think probably not chains, Martin.
And water dripping down the Wembley walls.
Yeah. So you were worried about lawsuits earlier, but not now.
No, this is obviously humour. This is satire, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah. Is it? I don't
Yes.
know. I imagine them being full of books and hard sums.
They have to actually do. That would be the thing, wouldn't it? They actually have to work harder. And actually come. If they're doing GCSE, they should be doing A-level work. If they're doing A-level
Well,
work,
it strikes me. It strikes me as counterproductive, because if children don't attend additional sessions and then they're sent to the referral room in school, they'll miss the sessions in school. And what do you do? Do you get them to do the additional sessions in the referral room instead of their normal lessons? That all seems a bit baffling.
Does it make them worse, or does it make... Yeah, because actually,
Who can say?
because they're Michaela kids, they should want to do well. So if they're in a
Right.
referral room, they should actually be given lots of distractions, like phones, perhaps give them phones and things like that to
Punish
stop them
them
doing
with
well.
internet access. Yeah.
Yeah, punish them by giving them...
Like the scene in A Clockwork Orange where he's forced to look at
Oh my God.
social...
You can see what's going to be... That's going to be the advertise. That's going to be on the front screen.
There we are.
That is definitely...
Yes.
Sorry. If you didn't
And
see
that is-
that because you're listening, then it was quite a weird sight of David's eyes in the most extraordinary...
Well, for those of you that have not
Clockwork
seen
Orange.
A Clockwork Orange and aren't aware of... Brad McLaren. No, not McLaren. What's his name? The actor.
McLaren,
Full name.
you're getting muddled up with the...
Yeah,
Grand
I'm
Prix.
getting confused. It's a muck somebody, isn't it? Anyway, whatever.
It's McDowell.
Yeah, McDowell. Yeah, sitting there with his eyes pinned open, being forced to watch a series of horrific images on a primitive version of the internet. Not the internet. Anyway, listen.
I think that's it.
What do you think? We don't really care. But if you want to tell us anyway, write in, complain.
And read David's novel and his book, and
Yeah, I did.
that hasn't come out.
A Million Daisy Christodoulos can't be wrong.
That's right. There you go. And on that note, see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.